Hi, I'm Caitlin Hatch, and today we're going to talk about behavioral management and social skills, and that's me in the picture. So let's get started. Why isn't it? There we go. So first off, why do we need behavioral management? Well, today, children between the ages of 3 and 21 are ending up on the emotionally disturbance category. Now, it's not due to how people are raising their children. Even though child rearing skills have changed from when I was a kid to when my parents were a kid, it's mostly due to because children now under IDEA must be included in the general classroom. And because of this, we're getting more and more results of emotionally disturbed children. And back in my parents' day, they were either at home not getting proper education or in a different school not getting a proper education. Now, in today's society, children are taught they want to challenge someone's authority. We're learning this from learning about the civil rights era and women wanting to vote. And they're copying it, instead of learning the true reasons why people were challenging the authority because something was wrong and it needed to be changed. Instead, they've learned they can challenge an authoritative figure. Schools also become a place where it's only about the academics. In reality, children learn more than academics in the general classroom. Children are slowly learning behaviors in the general classroom, how they affect others in their environment, and they're learning what's right and wrong through social skills and discipline. So how can we change the fact that we see school as only for academics? And what exactly is positive behavior support? Positive behavior support is basically stopping the bad behaviors before they become worse. So we correct wrong behaviors when children are in kindergarten, for example, instead of when they're in high school. Positive behavior support is teaching behaviors in schools, home, and other environments. It actually has research based, and its goals are to help students, and its main goal is to connect the research with the environments the students are taught in. So what exactly is the research? The positive behavior support and functional behavior assessment, which is mentioned later on, has 30 years of research data has been collected through different behaviors. However, children all learn differently and all their behaviors are different, so it's actually highly flexible, which is different than how other things are taught, because some behavior techniques will work on other children while they won't work on others. So you have to find out which positive behavior support works best for which child. Now, how is behavior measured exactly? Well, there is a 3-tiered system of support, which is the image on the left. It has the green, yellow, and red. The green area is for children who are not showing behavioral signs. Meaning they get along, they're understanding their social cues, and they have relatively positive behavior. This is where we want the positive behavior support to be, stopping children before they move on to the yellow and red area. The yellow area is for children who are at risk for problematic behaviors. They start to misbehave, we can still bring them back to the green. It just might take some time. And the red are children who need a functional behavior assessment. That's the top of the spectrum, and it's a very low percentage of children who reach it. And keep in mind that it's only a few number of children are in here, which is why it's like a pyramid. Most children are in the green, some are in the yellow, and the little bits in the red. So if they're children in the red, they go to the functional behavior assessment, which can turn into behavioral intervention plan. And then we have manifest determination. So what is a functional behavior assessment? A functional behavior assessment, or FBA, is only when the child is in the red area or the upper levels of the 3-tiered model. And we're trying to examine why the specific behavior is occurring, what triggers it, and how to prevent it. Now, there's a common misconception only professionals can give this. However, due to the fact that someone has to be there when the child is having a negative behavior and find out why it is triggering it, can be someone who sees behavior daily, like a teacher. It has 3 main concepts: it has the setting, events, the triggers, and and you have to maintain the consequences. The setting events are basically the mood the child's in, what's going on at the time, and what happened before school. For example, maybe they missed a bus. or there's some other home life change that they're going through. Triggers are what set the child off and is making the child act out. So maybe the teacher, maybe someone picked on them and it broke their back. It's like the straw broke the camel's back. And maintain consequences is simple. You have to keep the consequences you put in place when the child misbehaves. You cannot lean back on the child. You have to keep your consequences continuing so the child learns that if they misbehave with a certain behavior, there will be consequences for them. So how can you make a functional behavior assessment? This is only one model of the functional behavioral assessment. Keep in mind that depending on your county, that this will change. You have to record the frequency of the behavior, where the behavior is occurring, who is around when the behavior occurs, what has been done to try and change it, and what behavior do we want to change it with. So we can say rather than our child throwing pencils at someone, we want them to pick them up. It has to be replacing the bad behavior with a good behavior. That is the key to it. Also, who's around is important. Because maybe it's one person setting off them instead of just everything piling on and snapping. Maybe one person's continuously bugging them. Keep in mind, it has to be continuous. The behavior cannot be one day. The frequency of the behavior is most important. So what are some problem behaviors? As you can see, I have a list. One is to get an attention or reaction from peers and adults. These children generally misbehave just to get attention and are neglected when they don't receive attention from their good behaviors. To get something tangible, we see this with little children. They really want something and they will keep trying and trying till they get it. This can cause a tantrum because they're not getting what they want, and they think if they have a tantrum, they will get what they want. To get power or control is when students defy what a teacher or person in authority does, to test the boundaries and see how far they can go. We see this in little children, and we can see it in older teens. So they will when you say something, they'll do the opposite, or in the cases of teenagers, they'll probably just leave when you ask them to stay inside the classroom to meet sensory needs. These are children who may be on the autistic spectrum. They're trying to meet their own needs, and we just see how they meet their own needs of a sensory overload as probably a problematic behavior. And we have to teach the children to find acceptable ways to create these behaviors. Like, for example, we can learn that when they are going to have a sensory overload, to do something about it, to catch it before they go into trying to fix themselves. For example, my cousin, when he's starting to get overwhelmed, he puts earmuffs on. To communicate feelings, wants, and needs. Children are struggling to show emotions and have issues with expressing emotions in social situations. So they're trying to express their emotions but get frustrated when they aren't able to. As a result of lack of understanding, when the students cannot understand the social situations and cannot understand their own behaviors or predict them, meaning they don't understand why their behavior is wrong or predict what will happen because of them. So the children that can't understand quite why they're angry, and then they hurt someone because they're angry, they couldn't predict that. They didn't know that would happen because they got angry. To escape or avoid something. These can be students who have trouble in language or social situations, So they try to avoid these situations and tend to get in trouble to avoid them, or just do not want to go into them. These are your shy students. As they grow up, such as myself, I've learned to go into the situations because I have to. So what's the bottom line for a functional behavior assessment? Bottom line is, it's not that simple, and there can be many, and the main reason is there are underlying reasons for a student's misbehavior, meaning there's more than one reason why a student may misbehave. Remember, the FBA is found in a student in the last tier of our positive behavior. So prevention plans have not worked. That's the important key. We try to correct their behavior early on, but it's not working. And early on, I mean in kindergarten. It should work when they're younger, but if there is a case where it's still not working, that's when the functional behavior assessment is filed. And the functional behavior assessment is a start, and it can turn into a behavioral intervention plan. So what's a model for intervention? Our model for intervention is similar to the 3-tier model, which is, again, where we, instead of the green, we have instructions and ways to prevent negative behaviors. And in the yellow, we are starting to reinforce the positive behaviors as the negative behaviors begin to show. In the top, we have the undesirable consequences. And generally, teachers see it from the bottom way. We have the undesirable consequences, so we reinforce the positive and negative behaviors, and then we have instructions, and then we prevent the negative behavior. We prevent the negative behavior instructions. My bad. We instead had to flip this around because we have to prevent the negative behaviors before they become problematic. Oops. Summary. So what we talked about is positive behavior support is the first step into promoting and learning positive behavior. We have to stop the negative behavior before it happens. FBA is a functional behavior assessment which later turns into behavioral intervention plan. And the 3-tier model for positive behavior has 3 parts. The green is most students, the yellow is only some, and the red are the students who may or may not have emotional disturbances and are not responding to our positive behavior intervention. Next, we're going to talk about social skills. What skills can be taught in school? This is part of the positive behavioral intervention plan, which incorporates behavioral lessons into regular lessons. So the lesson I'm going to talk about to the model standards for academic, social, emotional, and character development is SE2 self-management, and underneath that it's SE 2.1 expressing emotions. And expressing emotions is students will demonstrate the ability to verbalize both positive and negative emotions appropriate times and in appropriate ways as a way to accomplish his or her goals. So how can missing this skill be negative, not being able to express your emotions appropriately? For example, if a student cannot express his emotions, they will show frustration and lack of understanding and will not continue to do their work. But if a student can express his or her emotions but cannot express them appropriately, they will cause disturbances in the classroom. For example, if they're angry and start running amok in the classroom to show they're angry, that's disturbing the classroom. But if they're angry and don't understand it, they won't do their work. As you can see, it leads to different things, depending on if the behavior is positive or negative. So what's the point of the social skill? We want younger children to be able to control his or her emotions when expressing them, and how to express them in school, and later, not possibly later, but later, in other environments outside the house. And we want them to maintain these behaviors inside the house as well. In this lesson, we will be going to be learning what some emotions are and what can cause them. We need students to understand that there are more emotions than just happy, sad, and mad. We'll go over how to express these emotions and what is the appropriate behavior for when you express these emotions. So, I've read a book, which is in the next slide, I believe, and some of the terms students should understand is excited, when someone is eager, like you're really happy to do something. Joyful is expressing happiness or great pleasure. You can be joyful when you complete an assignment. Cranky is when someone's ill-tempered. They're not in a good mood. They're just not in a great mood at all. And discouraged is when they lose confidence or enthusiasm. Like if a student cannot solve a problem, they begin to get discouraged with their homework. I have a link to my video, so let's go to it. If it will let me. Yep. Might edit that out. Hi, I'm Caitlin, and today we're going to be reading Today I Feel Silly and Other Moods That Make My Day by Jamie Lee Curtis and illustrated by Laura Cornell. Today I feel silly. Mom says it's the heat. I put robe on the cat and gloves on my feet. I ate noodles for breakfast and pancakes at night. I dressed like a star and was quite a sight. Today my mood's bad, I feel grumpy and mean. I picked up my room, it still isn't clean. I forgot to feed Franny and water the fern, and the cocoa I'm making is starting to burn. Today I am angry, you better stay clear. My face is all pinched and red ear to ear. My friends had a play date, they left me out. My feelings are hurt, I want to shout. Today I am joyful, my mood is first rate. My friend's sleeping over, she said she can't wait. My freckles are popping, the sun is so bright. I ran the relay with all my might. Today I'm confused, my life's getting hairy. Sam says he's my boyfriend, but he also likes Mary. My mom told my father he might be a dad. I might get a brother. I'm not sure I'm glad. Today I'm quiet. My mom understands. She gave me 2 ice creams and then we held hands. We went to the movies and then had a bite. I cried just a little, then felt alright. Today I'm excited. There's so much to do. I'm gonna sell cookies and lemonade too. I'm starting a club to go clean up the park. And I've got a big crush on my teacher named Mark. Today I'm cranky, nothing seems right. I have diarrhea and broke my new kite. My mom dyed her hair orange, my dad shaved his beard, my tooth came in crooked. This family is weird. Today I'm lonely, I feel so small. My aunt's away, I wish that she'd call. My mom's working late and my dad has the flu, and although I've got stuff, I've got nothing to do. Today I'm happy, I'm walking on air. I learned how to knit and French braid my hair. I did my first solo in hip hop and jazz. This day's been so great, I'm full of pizzazz. Today I'm discouraged and frustrated, see? I tried rollerblading and fell on my knee. I really want straight hair, but mine's curly Q. Should I cut it or grow it? Oh, what should I do? Today I'm sad, my mood's heavy and gray. There's a frown on my face and it's been there all day. My best friend and I had a really big fight. She said that I tattled and I know that she's right. Today my mood's great. It's the absolute best. I rode a two-wheeler and passed my math test. I played soccer at recess and we won the game. I sang in the show and my parents both came. I'd rather feel silly, excited, or glad than cranky or grumpy, discouraged, or sad, but moods are just something that happen each day. Whatever I'm feeling inside is okay. And finally, how do you feel today? And I feel excited. And there we go. Okay. So, no. Does this work? There we go. Alright. So, next we have a worksheet. This is the basic outline of it. For them, I would have explain emotions and have them give their own definitions of joyful, excited, discouraged, and cranky. And for worksheet and for working on emotions, I would have them explain why expressing anger in ways that hurt people are wrong. Why is expressing happiness in a way that makes others feel down wrong? Meaning, if you're so happy you pass a test and you keep saying it and saying it and saying it and saying you did better than others, that's gonna hurt their own feelings. And I will say, why is it alright to be sad? Because children need to understand that it is okay to be down, and what is the appropriate way to show anger that doesn't hurt anyone and that's the best for them. So how can I tell if the students understand? I can ask them questions related to the worksheet I just showed, like, is it okay to start screaming in the classroom when you're angry? Or is it better to take a deep breath and calm down? I can also ask them to identify emotions from pictures shown, or I can ask them what is joyful and have them give their own definition of it. And as we learn more and more about emotions, I'll add more. I can ask them what pride means and all that. All the more complicated emotions. Next, what can I have them do independently? I can have them reflect on their own emotions throughout the day and how they handled them. And if it turns out they handled them wrong, if they got in trouble, what they could have done differently that would have been a more appropriate behavior. What do I hope they learn? I will really hope my children and students understand that how some emotions should be expressed appropriately and what others are. I want them to learn how to express them appropriately in school settings and later apply them to home and other public places. This is how I know what they learned, and I hope they can really apply them elsewhere. And that's it.